Hi, it's Penny here, and today we're going to be putting together my TBR for August. Now I am going to be using my TBR Machine website that I made that generates random reading prompts to pick 3 books off my TBR cart, but I also have some problems. So these are some books that I have out from the library. I will talk about these ones in a minute, but you can see that's quite a big pile. I also have this pile of library books for a random library reading project, semi-secret library reading project, so I won't talk about those books, but I have those ones as well. So really, we already have enough books to read for August. However, I'm still going to pick 3 off my TBR cart because I do want to keep working on getting my TBR cart down to 0. So I will try to get everything read, even though who knows how we're going to make that work. Anyway, let us pick our first prompt. So the first prompt is read a debut novel. This one's going to require some research. Okay, I've got 2 options. I think I'm going to, which one I'm going to go with actually, but I've got Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, which is apparently her debut. This is quite a popular fantasy series, although I have also seen a lot of people didn't enjoy it, but I did want to give it a go. I also have Lament by Maggie Stiefvater, and Maggie Stiefvater is one of my favorite authors, and this is some kind of like dark fairy tale fantasy. To be honest, I think I'm going to mostly make this decision based on size. So Lament is a lot thinner and a lot smaller. I mean, I should look at text size as well. Oh, Red Queen has smaller text. Okay, so we're going to read Lament by Maggie Stiefvater. What do we get for the next prompt? Read a book released in 2019. I don't know if I even have any of these on my TBR cart. Nope. 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 Okay, this was hard because most of the books on my TBR carts are ones that I've gotten from thrift shops and book fairs, so they tend to be a little bit older, but I do have a few newer ones on there, and the best I can do is 2018. So we're going to go with 2018. And I'm going to read The Fated Sky by Mary Robinette Kowal. So this is the second book in the Lady Astronauts series, which is an alternate history where there's some kind of disaster and humans have to accelerate their space travel, and we've also got some women trying to fight for their right to become astronauts. I really enjoyed the first book in the series, so I am excited to get to the second book as well. And I think this should be a pretty quick read because the writing is easy to get through. I'm all about adding quick reads for this particular TBR. Okay, so third and final prompt. Read a book written by multiple authors. Oh, that would have been a good option, but I don't fucking have that. Okay, so once again, none of the books on my TBR cart fit this prompt, but I can stretch things, I can make it work. So what I do have is The Inheritance, and it says it's by Robin Hobb and Megan Lindholm. Megan Lindholm is just another name for Robin Hobb, so technically it's not multiple authors, but it is multiple author names, right? And as well, this is a short story anthology with short stories from the Realm of the Elderlings world. So I've been reading the Realm of the Elderlings recently. I've read the first 3 trilogies. I've got a quartet and a trilogy still to go. I'm really loving the world, and I believe that I'm up to the point where people recommend you read these short stories. So why not? It's also funny because when I got this from a book fair, I bought it purely because of the cats on the cover. I hadn't even read any of the Realm of the Elderlings at that point, and like I always felt bad about never having picked this book up. But if I'd read it before I'd read any of the Realm of the Elderlings, who knows what my experience would have been like. Maybe I would have ended up picking up the Realm of the Elderlings earlier. Who knows? But it's all worked out well in the end, so I'll be able to read this one. And maybe since it's short stories, I can read like one, how long are they? One every day or something. How many stories are there? The 5th Squashed Cat? What kind of a name is that? 10. Anyway, I'll make it work. So, these are the 3 books that the TBR machine has picked for me. Luckily, they're all relatively thin, so that shouldn't be too hard. Let me now tell you a little bit about the library book troubles that I've gotten myself into. So, the biggest problem that we have is Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. But like, this is the 3rd book in the series, and the 4th book in the series is coming out in like November, so I want to read this before that comes out so that I can read that. I already have a hold on that at the library. I'm really high on the list. So this one hasn't had a whole queue at the library for quite a while. I think a lot of people aren't up to book 3, I guess. So the good thing is that I should be able to renew this if I don't finish it this month. But I really want to finish it before November so that I can get in with Rhythm of War as soon as possible. Plus, I am just really excited about this series. It's such a cool world. There's so much going on. It's even, I feel like any explanation of what this is about is completely inadequate. But we've got all these different characters, and in this book, they've all kind of come together a bit. They're going to start learning about their magic, and I'm sure that everything will be turned on its head by the time we get to the end. Also, this particular edition has like all this really cool art through it. Which I really like. Unfortunately, because it's a library edition, I can't properly see all of it. But one day, I'll buy my own beautiful illustrated editions. But this is a 1200 page book, so it's going to be a bit difficult to get through. Don't read any of it, you'll spoil yourself. But I am really excited, so I've got that one. Then as well, let's talk about the shortest one on this pile. So I also have Rolling in the Deep by Mira Grant. Mira Grant is a pen name for Sean Maguire, and this is the prequel novella to Into the Drowning Deep, which is this story all about this expedition that goes out trying to find mermaids, and they find them and things go very wrong from there. It's a horror book, so you can imagine it's not very nice. But that expedition in Into the Drowning Deep was going out after the first ship that had gone out looking for mermaids, and this is the story of the first ship. So I'm excited to get a little bit of backstory about what was going on. Plus, like, scary mermaids. Yes. Don't read it. Then we'll talk about the most beautiful book on this pile, in my opinion. So that is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. N.K. Jemisin is an author a lot of people are talking about lately. I've really been loving her Broken Earth trilogy, although I still need to read the 3rd book, and we didn't manage to fit that on the TBR for this month. But at least I'll have some N.K. Jemisin to read. This is all about New York City having these people that are essentially the soul of the city, and they're having to protect New York City against some kind of evil. I did read the prequel short story to this, and it was really interesting, but again, such a unique concept that it's almost difficult to explain it without going on and on for a long time and giving away the whole thing. But everyone I've heard talking about this book has really loved it, so I'm hoping that I will love it too. Okay, just 2 more library books. So I've also got Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This is the story of a crew of mercenaries, but they've all broken up because they're all old now, except then the daughter of one of the men goes missing, and so they get the band back together to go after the missing daughter. People say this is really fun and hilarious, so I wanted to give it a go. I didn't expect that it would turn up from the library as quickly as it did, so oops. Anyway, I also have another book from the library. Now this one, I put a hold on it when the hold list was like 100 people, and I know that when the book was released it was up to 300 people. So I'm talking about The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the Hunger Games prequel. A lot of people have already read this, but I've only just got into it. But of course I put a hold on it like a long time ago, and so I wasn't really able to predict when it would come. Now the library does have this whole capability where you can put freezers on your holds so that they don't all turn up at the same time. But I'm not smart enough to use that functionality. I just like to have all my library books come in and have no idea how I'm going to get to them all. So this one, I have seen that my library does have the audiobook now, so I think this is probably going to be my lowest priority book, and if I don't get to it, I'll listen to the audiobook instead, although there's a whole queue for the audiobook, so I put myself on that. If I don't read this physically, I'll have to wait like 2 months before the audiobook hold comes through, so I probably should try to fit this in. But seriously, my August TBR is looking disastrous. So this would be, oh my goodness, it's so heavy, all the books that I want to read in the month of August. I added it up, it comes to like 4,500 pages. I guess I will do my best. What I will say is that I'm really excited for a lot of these books, so that will really help with things. But wait, there's more, and I'm not talking about my other pile of secret library project books. No, we've got another store of books, and that is audiobooks. Although I think I don't have too many audiobooks. So firstly, and there is a chance that I will get to this in July, but it's a small chance, but otherwise I'll read it in August, and that is Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead. So this is some kind of post-apocalyptic horror novel. There's been some kind of plague, relatable, and now society is trying to rebuild. I mainly got this audiobook because Kayla is reading it as part of her Literally Dead book club, and I thought, why not? I have a pretty low bar for putting holds on audiobooks, although I probably should have put more holds on audiobooks than physical books lately. Never mind. I also have the third book of the Percy Jackson series, so Percy Jackson and the Titan's Curse, on audiobook, although I'm just noticing now that says it's not going to be available for another 6 weeks, so we'll see if it comes through in time. And then, actually, the rest on my hold list aren't ready for another 8 weeks, so I guess those won't be coming through either. Oh, wait, I've just remembered my library has 2 audiobook apps, and I have just started using the other one a bit more, so I need to remember to look in the other one as well. So I do have one more audiobook, and that is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. So this is some kind of dystopian, utopian, where people no longer die, but because of this, the AI that runs the world has picked these people to be scythes, and they get to choose who will die to keep population under control. A lot of people really love this series, and I did put it on my list of 20 books I want to read in 2020. So recently I checked to see if the audiobook was available, and it was on this second app that I don't normally use. But that means I've really only got like 2 or 3 audiobooks to read in August, so I'm gonna need some more audiobooks. Unfortunately, I did look for the audiobooks of all these library books, and none of them are available from my library. So that doesn't help with that problem. But if you've got any recommendations for audiobooks, do let me know, and maybe I will see if my library has them, because I'm going to need some more. Anyway, that will be my TBR for August. Wish me luck. And let me know if you've read any of the books that I'm going to be reading or trying to read, and whether you think I'm going to like them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well and reading lots of good books, and I will see you next time.